Kentucky's about to tip things off in the NCAA tournament, but hold on. It looks like the Cats are already cooking in the transfer portal.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky, your daily Kentucky Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Lance Dawe, and on today's episode of Locked On Kentucky, we are going to be discussing the transfer portal for Kentucky basketball. That's right, we've got a tournament game coming up later this week, but gentlemen, we've got some major news coming out of the transfer portal. Are the Cats already cooking? It certainly looks like they are. Today's episode is brought to you by the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Stay with us for the Armada Team of the Week later in the episode. Thank you guys so much for making Locked On Kentucky your first listen every single day. I want to remind everyone out there that we are free and available on all platforms. And if you are watching on YouTube, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the show. And if you're listening on podcast, I would also appreciate it if you subscribed there as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So I've got three different transfer portal players that I want to take a look at today that are all really, really good in their own right. Two of them I am just fired up about. And we'll start here with the guy that I am most excited about. It's the guy that you heard about before he even entered the transfer portal, and that is Wyoming guard Obi Agbim. In case you don't know who Agbim is, he is a 6'3", 180-pound guard out of Wyoming. He was a junior this year. I believe he played at the JUCO level before transferring over to the Cowboys. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he is a firecracker of a guard. This is exactly, and I mean exactly, what Kentucky basketball needs out of the transfer portal at guard next season. Somebody that can create, but more specifically is a legitimate athlete. This kid is a high flyer. He is very athletic, very quick, very bouncy. He's got all the tangibles you would want out of your typical, prototypical, I should say, Kentucky-style guard. This kid is special on the offensive end of the floor. Take a look at some of these numbers here. You are going to be amazed. So far this season, Obi Agbim, his season is over, but this season he's been averaging 17.6 points per game while shooting 47% from the field, 43.7% from beyond the arc. He is shooting 78.5% from the charity stripe while averaging 3.2 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and a steal per game. The statistics, once you dive into the efficiencies, will wow you, and it will make you understand why Kentucky so desperately needs somebody like Agbim in their system next season. If they can't get him, they need to get somebody exactly like him, because look at this. So we talked a lot last offseason, right, about Kentucky in the transfer portal with efficiencies, with how kids shot from the left wing, the right wing, the elbows, at the rim, all these different things. We were looking for balance, consistency, high percentages. We were looking for kids that could spread it around, shoot it, create in a bunch of different ways. This kid can do it all. 39% on left wing threes. That's about a quarter of his field goal attempts. The 39% will get you anything, I think, in the SEC, or get you a starting spot in the SEC. Abso-freaking-lutely. It'll get you anywhere in this conference, I should say. But take a look at this. 39% from the left break three. 52% from the right wing. That's only 15% of his field goal attempts. But gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, 39%, 52%, that is incredible efficiency on both sides of the court. And then on top of this, very good shooter at the rim. 59% at the rim. That's 18% of his field goal attempts. He's getting it done from the left break three, the right break three, at the rim, and he's also getting it done in the mid-range. Something that we don't talk about or praise enough, I think, on this show is what kind of offense you run there in the mid-range. And Mark Pope doesn't really have a ton of it, if at all. If anything, you're looking at maybe Otega Owe getting involved. And I think Agbim is very similar to Owe in the fact that he likes to attack and shoot at the elbows, and he's pretty effective at it. 47% at the right elbow, that's 15% of his field goal attempts. 48% shooting at the left elbow, 14% of his field goal attempts. So what have we seen so far? Well, we've seen a high-octane kid that's got insane athleticism. He's got some height to him at 6'3". He can get up, he can go out and transition, and he's very efficient at every single spot on the floor, and he's balanced across the board. You don't see a serious dip in any specific spot on the floor, and if there's anything, you look at 39% on left wing threes, you'll take 39% every freaking day from your top guard in the conference. So top guard on your system, I should say, within the SEC. I think he could definitely be a top guard in the conference. But yeah, super versatile here in terms of offensive skill set statistically when it comes to shooting. And then you actually look how he scores, and you really start to see just how versatile his game is. He's in the 99th percentile of effective field goal percentage catch and shoot players. He is shooting 74% effective field goal percentage on catch and shoot. Again, 99th percentile. Kentucky got so many of these kids out of the portal last season that were so good in catch and shoot spot up type situations. He's in the 82nd percentile of spot up scores. He's in the 88th percentile of transition scores. But here's where Agbim differs from every kid Kentucky got in the portal this past offseason. Listen here. He's in the 73rd percentile of isolation scores. Now, it's only 7% of how he scores the rock. But still, it's very important to note that Kentucky all offseason long were looking for kids that could shoot, spot up, and get out in transition. They struggled to find kids that could create an isolation, and frankly, it was a major weakness, according to Synergy, for a variety of kids that Kentucky got out of the portal. And to see Agbim as somebody that you're looking at right now that is versatile across the board statistically, he can score in a variety of ways in a variety of spots. He's really good off ball screens. He's really good at getting to the rim. Again, he's bouncy, so he can get to the rim, get up, and finish with efficiency, 59%. But he's also able to create and handle the ball in isolation. Again, it's something that Kentucky did not get much of in the portal last offseason. And whenever they have gotten it in spurts this season, it hasn't been the most consistent thing. And with how predictable I think other parts of the offense are in terms of how they score, sometimes you can catch yourself in a little bit of a lull, especially when the ball's just simply not going in the hole. You don't have somebody that can bail you out and create individually. This guy absolutely can. It's a small sample size, but he's proven that he can do it, and he can do it in a variety of ways. Yes, 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 yes to Obi Agbim. Any day of the week. I believe he's already linked to Texas Tech. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if those reports are fully accurate, but I hope if Kentucky has not already contacted this kid, they get a hold of him quickly, because this guy is special. Would be a great addition to next year's backcourt alongside Jasper Johnson, Caden Lewis, Otega Owe, Colin Chandler, if he's still hanging around, Travis Perry. Dude, this is a loaded backcourt, especially if you can get Agbim there at the top. We're going to continue to break down Kentucky's contacts in the transfer portal. We got a forward here from Davidson that I believe is the next Andrew Carr. Going to break this one down here for you in just a second. Before I do, though, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Nissan. The Armada Team of the Week is brought to you by our friends at Nissan and the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Each week, our Locked On College basketball experts are picking one team that stands apart from the top-seeded stars to the unexpected upsets. These guys showcased the strength and sheer power needed to push their team forward. This week's Armada and clear-cut team of the week is the Florida Gators. The Gators, led by Walter Clayton, 17 points a game, just dominated the SEC tournament, winning each game by at least 9 points. Not only did the Florida Gators grab the 4th number 1 seed, but they're the nation's most efficient offense. When it comes to the Nissan Armada, they say go forth and conquer, and that's exactly what the Gators have done here. It's clear that our team of the week here is out here ready to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in the all-new Nissan Armada or any of Nissan's outstanding vehicles. You can take the Nissan Armada, Rogue, or Pathfinder and go find your next big adventure. You can shop at nissanusa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Fabric. Life moves fast, especially when you have a family. One day you're watching your kids take their first steps, and before you know it, they're off to college. That's why securing their future right now is so important. And Fabric by Gerber Life makes it simple to get term life insurance that fits your family's needs. With Fabric, you can apply for term life insurance online right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes, and in many cases, no health exam is required. You get peace of mind, affordable coverage. It goes beyond life insurance. They also offer free digital wills and access to investment accounts to help you plan for your children's future. You can join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their families. You can apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. That is meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. All right, continuing along here on the Tuesday edition of Locked On Kentucky. Lance Dawe hanging out here with you. I thank you guys so much for checking out the show today. Hey, if you have not subscribed to the show, look, We've got so much going on here at Locked On Kentucky. We've obviously got a game here on Friday between the Kentucky Wildcats and the Troy Trojans, a big-time matchup. I've been studying up. I've been watching film. I've been looking at Troy's offense. I've been looking at their defense, some interesting zone stuff. We're going to dive into all of that. This is a much better team than they look on paper, and they could cause some problems for the Cats. Can Kentucky avoid the upset? We'll be breaking it down later this week. Subscribe now here if you have not already joined. Thank you to everyone who already has. Comments, discusses things on the show. I'd love to shout all the different people out that individually like to comment, but I don't want to leave anybody out. So thank you, obviously, to and you know who you are, the people that are engaging all the time here in the comment section and over on Twitter. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Let's talk here about another transfer portal player that I am thrilled about, and I think he could be the next Andrew Carr, and that is Reed Bailey out of Davidson. According to David Sisk of Cats Illustrated, if I'm not mistaken, Kentucky is interested in this kid, or at the very least moving in that direction, and Bailey is somebody that I find very interesting, both for positive and negative reasons. So this is a 6'11", 230-pound forward out of Harvard, Massachusetts. That's his hometown, but he's been playing for 3 seasons at Davidson. This year, averaged 18.8 points per game, alongside 6.1 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.8 blocks, shooting 47.7% from the floor and 41.5% from 3. So some of those statistics may stand out to you on the surface in both positive and negative ways. We'll go ahead and dig into it here. I think the big thing for me, before we get into the stats, is you look at the way that this kid plays and how he gets those statistics. Quickness, fluidity, post scoring. This kid's got a lot of different things that he can get to in the post, and I don't want to say that he's better than Carr by no means, but I think he's a little bit more physical, a little bit more muscle than maybe Carr is able to consistently offer. Does he have the soft touch that Andrew Carr has around the rim? It does not seem like he does, at least at this stage in his career. Maybe that's something that can be developed. But, man, you like the muscle, you like the quickness and the fluidity. The kid gets to his spots, and he makes decisions quickly. Again, he's not as efficient inside as you would like him to be. In fact, if you want to go look at KenPom, he's only shooting 47.9% inside the arc. But you do like the ability to stretch the floor, 41.5%. He's not been shooting that way his entire career. I think he's like a 31% career three-point shooter. But he's got something that makes him special, that would make him incredible in the Mark Pope system. He is an amazing passer. I hope you noticed that I kind of glossed over it there for a second. 3.8 assists per game. 3.8 assists per game, 25.3% assist rate. That's 183rd nationally, coming from a 6'11", 230-pound forward. Yeah, absolutely. Mark Pope knows what to do with that. If he's able to stretch the floor like he did this past season, even if he's shooting 33% from beyond the arc, he wasn't a volume three-point shooter, I might add. He was getting a lot of work inside. You want somebody like that on your team. Now, do you want them taking up major minutes at power forward? I'm not sure, and especially I don't know if that's where Reed Bailey wants to go, as a backup role or splitting time with somebody else, considering he was averaging almost 19 a game at his previous school. But I really do start to have some concerns when you talk about the way that this roster next season is constructed, right? You talk about the physicality down low. You talk about the need for muscle. You talk about the need for the biggest freaking dude that you can find in the transfer portal that does 2 things: blocks shots and protects the freaking rim at all costs. And he's got muscle, and he is big, and we can get somebody out there that is an enforcer, an aggressive, athletic enforcer. He doesn't need to be a shooter. He doesn't need to be an offensive player. We've got guys like that in our system that we can make work. Somebody like Reed Bailey, I think, fits the Andrew Carr type, but you need somebody alongside him to kind of throw that second punch on defense. And I don't necessarily know if you want to go get somebody like an Ainsley Almanor type again out of the portal, as good as Ainsley's been off the bench. I think you want somebody that kind of is contrast to what you have there, and somebody like a Bailey or a Carr. So while, yes, I think I'm really excited about the passing, about the possibilities down low, somebody that's got a little bit more bulk, a little bit more quickness, a little bit more fluidity than Carr, but also at the same time, I think Carr provides you some things that maybe Bailey couldn't, as far as touch, as far as maybe some things that are efficiency-wise, as far as outside shooting. Carr, I think, is a better actual spot-up shooter when it comes to form, and then execution and obviously consistency over the last several years. So Bailey, I think, would be very good for Kentucky, because of the positives, but you have to consider the negatives and also think about what else is going on with this roster outside of him. What's going on around him? How's Pope going to construct stuff? Because if he does it correctly, it makes Bailey into an extremely valuable piece potentially if he were to commit to the Cats. So Reed Bailey is somebody that I'm really intrigued by to see if maybe Mark Pope can make him a little bit better than he is currently, and he's pretty darn good already. So that's my thoughts on Reed Bailey. We'll continue to monitor that. We'll continue to monitor Agbim. And the final guy I want to get to here, guys, is a Division II transfer, and he is legit. Throw anything you want to say out the window about Kentucky recruiting and whether or not they've fallen off or whether or not they suck or whether or not they're doing things right or wrong. Auburn brought a D2 transfer in Chaney Johnson into their program, developed him into a special forward. I'm seeing the exact same thing here with Elyjah Freeman. We'll talk about him more in just a second. Before I do that, though, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with the top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a big project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. You can find the right talent. Again, it's fast and easy hiring. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, multiple qualified candidates to choose from. It's cost-effective growth. So instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps find affordable top-tier freelancers to scale your business efficiently. You can visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, wrapping up the Tuesday edition of Locked On Kentucky, Lance Dawe hanging out here with you discussing the transfer portal, Kentucky cooking. Already take a look at some prospects. And gentlemen, we've got some official news here from friend of the program, Jacob Polachek. He has broken some news over on Twitter. He's got some information behind a paywall at KSR. I would encourage you guys, go check out KSR Plus. You want to get that information, kind of dig into what Elyjah Freeman has to say about the Cats because, gentlemen, Elyjah Freeman, a 6'8" freshman forward out of the D2 ranks, has been contacted by Kentucky. What? A 6'8" freshman from Division II basketball, and Kentucky wants to take a look at him? What exactly is going on here? Well, you start to dive into it, and you start to look at the highlights, you take a look at the numbers, you realize this kid has major upside. So Freeman, as I mentioned, is 6'8", a freshman. He's got several years to develop. And you may say, well, maybe he's somebody that works down low. Maybe he's somebody that can be inside out, like somebody like Reed Bailey. Maybe he's somebody that can handle the ball, be more of a wing type instead of a forward, and he can kind of stretch out, handle the ball, maybe be a 2 or a 3. He can do every single one of those things. Go and watch this kid's tape on YouTube. He's not the most physical player. I wouldn't say that he's extremely wiry, but he's not the most built player either. But man, this kid is versatile as all get out. I don't know if I've seen a kid as versatile, scoring in so many different ways, especially at the Division II level, as fluid and as pure as this kid is. In one season at Lincoln Memorial University, this kid averaged 18.9 points per game, shot 58.7% from the field. He shot 45.6% from three, 80.7% from the free throw line, while also averaging 8.7 rebounds per game, 2.6 assists per game, 2 steals per game, 0.8 blocks per game. He did everything for them. You go watch this kid's highlights on YouTube, you see him scoring in so many different ways. Spot up, catch and shoot, transition, isolation, off of high ball screens, off of side ball screens. This kid did it all for Lincoln Memorial. Statistically, there is not a single thing to dislike. Not a single thing. Not a single thing. He does everything well. And the kid's a freshman. Now, obviously, the talent level at the Division II level here is not great. Maybe he's a hidden gem and he's just been balling out against kids that he's much better than. What happens when he gets to the D1 level? What happens when he takes that next step? Well, again, I go back to a great example in Chaney Johnson from Auburn. This is a legitimate forward for the Tigers that has developed, gained muscle, added more things to his game, added a legitimate outside shot, and he's been such a threat for them coming off the bench as one of the most efficient cogs in their wheels, right? This guy, Elyjah Freeman, could be exactly that for Kentucky in the future. He could be a good passer. He could be a good scorer. He could be a good outside shooter. He could be somebody that collects steals. He's really good at anticipating passing lanes, again, getting out in transition, dunking on people, finishing at the rim. This kid plays with some energy and with some fight. I love what I'm seeing here out of Elyjah Freeman. I think this could be a hidden gem that Kentucky has stumbled upon that ends up being maybe not the most valuable player next season, but somebody that contributes in a very serious way down the road. I love this contact here. I think this is a great find by Mark Pope's staff. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I encourage you, go watch the film. I can't show it here on YouTube. Go watch the kid's film. This kid's good. This kid is really, really good for a freshman. Great ball handler, great scorer, good defender. This kid could be great. I'm excited. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Kentucky. You guys can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On UK. You can follow me on Twitter at @LanceDawe_. And you can follow the show over on Instagram. That is at Kentucky Podcast. Any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave those in the YouTube comments below. You can hit me on the socials. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Kentucky. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and God bless. Tournament's just a day away. Let's get it.